All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the zoning administration for Monday, November 2nd, 2020. It is 5:06, and I'd like to call the meeting to order. Tonight, first of all, I'd like to open up the agenda for public comment. For any item that is not on the agenda, you are welcome to make up to 2 minutes of public comment. And if for the record, please state your name. Is there anybody who would like to make a public comment for an item that is not on the agenda?
Through the chair, I just want to put on the record that we did not receive any emails prior to this meeting for public comments for the agenda.
All right. Thank you.
And I don't see anyone in the attendees to the meeting raising their hands, so no general public comments.
All right. Thank you for that update. Then let's move along to number 3, business items. Tonight, we will hear the limited term permit application number LTP 20-01, Salvatore Palma, applicant and owner of Higher Level of Care, HL Express, and Reggie Jackson, property owner, are requesting approval of a limited term permit to operate a temporary checkout window, office, storage, and employee break area associated with Higher Level of Care, cannabis retailer located at 1440 Canyon Del Rey Boulevard, from a commercial building located at 305 Amador Avenue, Suite C, APN number 011-311-018, in the West Broadway Urban Village Specific Plan. The project is categorically exempt Class 1, Section 15301A from the California Environmental Quality Act. Staff.
Beth Rocha, are you able to hear me and see the shared screen?
Yes.
All right, perfect. As introduced, limited term permit 20-0 for 305 Amador Avenue, Suites. Conditions accommodating businesses during COVID-19, the California Bureau of is doing the same and granting temporary relief from requirements of some of their sections attached in attachment to the packet. And emergency declaration has been receiving relief.
Hey Beth, we're having some, I don't know if anyone else is having audio issues, but I had to mute you because the feedback was so bad.
I'm having audio issues too. Is it possible for Ms. Rocha to call in via the phone, perhaps?
She is on the telephone as well. So Beth, you can choose to unmute your phone and let's try it that way.
Okay, are we good now?
Yeah. No, we're not good. Can you make it sound, you mute your computer, not just your Zoom interface?
It's shown as unmuted.
If you're able to share presentations on the J Drive.
I'm not logged into the okay. You're just getting feedback, echoing, because you have some sort of speaker system logged in twice. Okay, give me 1 second and I'll be able to share.
Leslie, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I have to log on a different computer to get to the J Drive. 1 second.
Okay. Presentation is J, Council 2020, and then ZA for today's month to date.
Perfect. Give me 1 second and I will be tapped in.
I apologize. This seemed to work last time.
It worked just fine. Okay, I'm almost done. Sorry for the delay.
Perfect. Fine.
Thank you, Mr. Palma, for your patience. I apologize, the system is agonizingly slow right now. Okay, 10 more seconds. Oh my goodness. Hey, Beth, it says the folder's
Yes.
in.
For November?
Yes, for November 2nd.
Council presentations 2020, then to the ZA
Yes, and then November.
folder, which is below.
Yep, it says it is, there's nothing in it. Unless it's outside of it, so it's 305 Amador.
That's it.
Okay, just wasn't in the folder. We are here. Okay, fine. Here we go.
We could start on the second slide.
Thank you for your patience, everyone. Okay. Take it away.
So as we've seen with many businesses, both state and city regulations being flexible, Governor Newsom's emergency declaration regarding COVID-19 has resulted in the Bureau of Cannabis Control granting temporary relief from some of their requirements, which are provided in the packet as attachment 2. Higher level of care has received temporary relief to conduct curbside pickup, and they will be doing a transaction window at 305 Amador for orders placed online, and there will be zero exchange of cannabis happening. It's just a payment window. It requires, according to the BCC, be under video surveillance, and they've submitted a security plan that the Seaside Police Department reviewed, and they did not have any comments regarding what was proposed. There's a condition of approval, should any modifications be made, that it go back to the police department for additional review. Next slide, please. So the project proposal is the checkout window located at 305 Amador Suite C, which would occupy only 120 square feet. So it truly is a pickup window. The remainder of the space is just under 2,300 square feet, and it's going to be occupied by an office space, non-cannabis storage, and an employee break area. That's included in attachment 4, but we will have a slide to show that. Parking is also going to be provided on site, and it can accommodate 6 parking spaces. And then project approval is going to allow for the temporary activity for no more than 12 months. So if it's approved tonight, another condition of approval is that the city be provided with the 30-day temporary relief that the BCC has been issuing to higher level of care, as long as we receive that every 30 days, or if they increase the frequency or expand it to a longer period of time, that be provided to us to allow for the continuation of this temporary use at 305 Amador. Next slide. This is the site plan. The circled area with the red highlighted shows where the parking spaces will be located. And then the insert shows a little bit more of the site context. 305 Amador is the building closest and located behind the Seaside gateway sign at Canyon del Rey and Del Monte. Next slide. This is the floor plan. Again, you can see where the checkout window is labeled. It's a small area compared to the rest of what's available in the building at 120 square feet. And then you see the storage, employee break area, office, and restroom. Next slide. So this is coming before the zoning administrator tonight in accordance with Seaside Municipal Code Section 1762040. E11 allows for similar temporary activities as those listed in subsection E. So this specific use wasn't listed as what you would typically obtain a limited term permit for. Most of those uses are more seasonal or even more temporary in nature, but this allows the ZA to make findings that declare this use compatible with the applicable zoning and surrounding land uses. Next slide. We'll run through the findings a little bit more abbreviated than what they are in the report and even what they are here, as this was copied exactly. But staff did find and is in support of the proposed temporary use being similar to other activities listed in both the zoning code section for limited term permits, as well as being compatible with the zoning of the West Broadway Urban Village and surrounding land uses. So the checkout window and the associated office space, storage, and employee break area is compatible with the surrounding land uses, and it's also compatible with the West Broadway Urban Village. And specialty retail and business services is a specific use listed that's allowed in the West Broadway Urban Village in this zone, and it's listed as having the potential to facilitate vitality and pedestrian activity. So it meets that finding. Continuing on to the next slide, I have a few findings here. Proposed use shall facilitate vitality in the West Broadway Urban Village. So higher level care is one of our more vibrant cannabis retailers in the city, and the associated checkout window at 305 Amador will help facilitate vitality by both streamlining customer service experiences for higher level of care patients. And then moving on to the next finding, in terms of it contributing to pedestrian activity, there will be more activity on that site, which has been vacant for a while now, as you have customers and employees using both places of business. And finally, on this slide, but not the last finding, the proposed use shall provide visual access for pedestrians into the ground floor use. So we added a condition of approval that would limit obscuring the windows of that suite with signs. Next slide. And this is the final finding. It's vision, goals, and concept, and policy adherence. So the concept of the West Broadway Urban Village is that it's a proposed mix of retail, residential, and office uses that focus on a safe, inviting pedestrian environment. I've listed a lot of policies for which this project and proposal is consistent with. I'm not going to review all of those, but we do have a couple of conditions of approval that will definitely be related to SEPTED practices in terms of the security as well as site cleanup. And the next slide is a staff recommendation, which is approval of this limited term permit, subject to the findings as well as it being limited to no more than 12 months and the various conditions of approval that are included in the resolution.
All right, thank you, staff, for that presentation. I have a brief question, first of all, just related to signage. I understand that you mentioned that there won't be signage on the windows that are facing the corner of Canyon Del Rey and Del Monte. Do you have any indication about what signage we can expect on that building?
The sign submittal will happen probably a little bit prior to occupancy of the building. The condition of approval is taken specifically from West Broadway Urban Village Plan, section D.7.4.5, and it specifically reads that window signs and other materials should not be placed in a manner which obscures primary views into and out from the storefront. I discussed this with the applicant and they plan on coming forward with a minimal amount of signage.
All right, super, thank you. I know that was an issue with that building before with the prior occupant. The next question, I'm not sure if it's for you or if it might be for the applicant. Do we know what percentage of their business is online? Like how busy, what might this new facility be? And is this a growing segment of their business? So I'm not sure if you want to pass this to the applicant or if this is something you want to handle.
We'll let the applicant speak to that.
Thank you.
Mr. Palma, I'm going to unmute you and you can allow you to talk and you can unmute and answer the question.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good evening. How is everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the consideration of the project. So right now, online orders comprise roughly about 15 to 20% of our total customer flow. I think that will increase significantly once we are able to go live with this pickup window. Kind of the limiting factor right now is that individuals still need to be able to enter the main facility to be able to conduct the cash transaction. So even though it is an online order, because of the COVID restrictions and how many individuals were allowed to have in the facility at any given time, while still meeting the social distancing requirements, even for our online ordering, there is still a line to wait to get into the facility so that we can remain compliant with those requirements. So it's not nearly as efficient as it could be. So the trade-off in converting from in-store purchase to online purchase just isn't that great at the moment. I think that this will greatly streamline things, and our hope is to potentially get the online ordering up to roughly 40 to 50%. So I think we should be able to double, if not triple, the number of online orders, which would obviously reduce traffic into the main facility, which waiting in the line is probably the overriding deterrent of people visiting the facility, because at times we do have quite long waits just because of those restrictions. So I think that segment individually could potentially grow 2 to 3 times, and in turn that would allow us to increase the traffic of in-store purchases as well.
All right, and then if I may, just a follow-up question. If you're going to anticipate business increasing this much, which is a nice problem to have, and thank you for that, do you have in mind how you might encourage some of your customers to approach your new location so that way they're not stacking out onto Canyon Del Rey, for example, like maybe a little safer way of car stacking in case your pickup, the new facility becomes too popular?
Yeah, well, fortunately, those transactions are going to be very expeditious. The order will already be picked. Customers will approach the window, pay for it. It'll be brought to them immediately from across the street. So we're hoping for a total transaction time in the 3-minute range, which will alleviate a lot of traffic. Additionally, adding the 6 parking spots over at 305 Amador increases our current on-site parking by about 66%. So we are going to have a major increase in our number of parking spots available, and it should make things much more efficient in being able to turn over customers and get them on their way. So I think if anything, it should actually alleviate parking congestion and streamline the traffic flow. Super.
All right, well, those are all the questions that I have as ZA. Is there anything else that the applicant would like to tell us?
Yeah, we're still working through the state wants us to sort of redo our premise diagram to incorporate that building. So we're still working through things with the state. And I called Beth to mention this to her earlier. So, we're not going to be able to just turn on the switch tomorrow. We've still got a couple things to work out with the state. So we're hoping to have things live inside of the next 30 days.
All right, super. With that said, how about if we take it out for public comment? Ms. Milton, if you could please check and see if there's any public comment available. If anybody would like to comment publicly, please raise your hand.
So there are no other participants on the webinar at this time, and I did double check my email in case there were written public comments, and nothing has been received.
All right, well, that made public comment very easy. Close public comment. Okay, after having reviewed this application and hearing the findings in the staff report, as well as the presentation tonight, as zoning administrator, I'm going to approve the LTP 20-01 in accordance with the Seaside Municipal Code section 17.62.040E11, based on the findings that illustrate the proposed use is compatible with the uses listed in 17.62.040 and other uses in the zoning district. The approval would allow for the temporary activity for no more than 12 months, and the project would be subject to the various conditions mentioned before. So with that, I grant the approval. Congratulations, Mr. Palma.
Thank you very much.
And I hope that you continue to work with Ms. Rocha to make this a successful endeavor for both the city and for your business. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. With that, that's the only business item that we have tonight. So I would move that we would adjourn, and it is 5:29 as I move for adjournment. Thank you, everyone.
All right.